Good afternoon, Malacanang Press Corps. Let's now have Presidential Spokesperson Salvador Panelo.
Hello, good noon, members of the Malacanang Press Corps and my countrymen. I'd like to report to the nation and to you, particularly, what happened last night at the cabinet meeting. President Rodrigo Duterte presided over the 34th cabinet meeting last night at the Aguinaldo State Room of Malacanang Palace. The first item discussed was the streamlining of land use conversion process, where one of the department secretaries for legal affairs talk about streamlining internal processes of all agencies involved in the conversion, including the imposition of definite timelines for its processing, such as the provision of government permits. Programs for improving the lives of farmers and fisher folks were the second on the agenda item. The Secretary of Agriculture, Manny Piñol, reported the bucket list for implementation. And these are one, farm to market roads, irrigation, including a solar powered irrigation system to be financed by an Israeli company. Then storage facilities, activation of regional food terminals, and strengthening of the RORO programs. Easy access for farmers, institutionalization of a farmer fisher folk credit union, and the creation of a cabinet cluster. Related to the second agenda item is a program to allow small farmers greater access to loan facilities. Specifically, the president said that the land bank should go to the farmers instead of the farmers going to the land banks. And the land bank uh, presented a program where they can give the said loans. Among others, also land bank mentioned about 361,000 farmers with existing individual certificates of land ownership awards who will be qualified for a bank loan. Specifically, Land Bank said that the moment a CLAW is issued, then that can be used as a collateral for a loan. He also the president directed the inclusion of new people armies surrenderies in the next round of land distribution. And then the third item that was discussed was the incorporation of drug education in the public school curriculum. Department Secretary Briones presented the curriculum for drug education and its efforts on the campaign against illegal drugs such as Barcada contra Droga, establishment of Barcada centers, school-based activities such as poster slogan making, counseling, and coaching, and drug testing for teachers and high school students. Specifically, Secretary Briones said that kung hindi pa with reference to the pregnant students. Sabi niya kung hindi niyo pa nagagawa, huwag niyo nang gawin. Pag nagawa niyo na, tingilan niyo na. And also the next item was about the national ID system. The president was agreeable to the establishment of one. And I think it will start in September of 2019 with a target of 6 million Filipinos for registration this year. The National Security Advisor mentioned that this is very critical for our security and suggested that the cybersecurity of the Department of Information and Communications Technology take the lead and the security of data be taken care by the Philippine Statistics Authority with the help of the ICT. PRRD, well, the President ordered the best and safest system of the implementation of the national ID system. It was also discussed in the cabinet meeting the military and uniform personnel pension reform bill. this was proposed by the Department of National Defense, which the President said he will certify as an urgent piece of legislation. And then the Department of Health's immunization program was likewise tackled by Secretary Duque of the Department of Health, and because the President ordered a vigorous campaign to promote the complete immunization for children. I think one of the reasons why we have an outbreak of measles is because the lack of immunization on the part of children. I think that the secretary was saying that the somehow people are reluctant to undergo immunization by reason of the Deng Bakshay scandal. Natakot, in other words. Kaya hirap daw sila ngayon. So after that, what was discussed is the Department of Tourism program, where it said that despite the closure of Boracay, we surpassed the quota of tourists in the Philippines. There is, I think, about 7.1 million foreign tourists in the country. Number one are the Koreans, and then we have I think the Chinese, and then the Americans, Chinese. No, Koreans is number one in the list. Russia, I think it's number 4. So it's refreshing to know that despite the closure of Boracay, which according to Secretary Berna Puyat, we lost about 500,000 to 1M tourists. So that's what happened to the cabinet last night that lasted until 2 hours in the morning. So I'm ready for any questions.
MPC questions? Make sa statement. RJ, microphones.
RJ,
Sir, good morning. Sir, on
Morning.
streamlining of land use conversion process, in what specific way will they streamline, sir?
well, the problem, the president was so frustrated. He spent, I think, half an hour saying that he was so frustrated about the requirements. It took some time. Remember, he was dismayed that 2 years hindi pa gumagalaw yung conversion. Yung pala, ang dami palang papasukan ng mga requirements. Merong DNR, merong local governments. Ang dami. Kaya yun ang pinoproblema ng mga nasa departamento. So they're trying to streamline that. Merong mga suggestions kung anong gagawin para mapabilis. Kasi nakatenga. Ang iba, siyempre, sabi nga ni Presidente, maraming tulisan. Kung walang pera o padulas, hindi gumagalaw. So he's looking at that.
And one of those is the imposition of definite timelines, sir.
Yes, definitely.
So definitely it wasn't done before.
Oh,
So that's why it took so long for them to process applications.
Well, the explanation there is because nga, like, yung DNR, kailangan titingnan mo pa kung i-examine mo pa yung lupa kung pwede na ma-convert o hindi. And then, ang problem pa daw, sabi ni Presidente, pag pumunta ka dun sa mga lugar na maraming NPAs, pagpunta ron ng mag-i-examine, tatakutin. Huwag ka nang bumalik rito kung hindi, babaong ka namin. Wala, hindi na babalik. So, paano ka magbibigay ng permit kung hindi mo na-examine yung lupa? Kaya maraming natenga.
Sir, it was just a discussion. Wala pang specific proposal, sir.
Wala. Pinag-aaralan nila. Merong isang proposal pero parang hindi na na-present dahil the president went to an outburst eh.
Alright, so pinag-aaralan pa lang, sir. Tama, sir.
Hindi. Meron ng proposal pero hindi na-present kasi nga nagsasalita si Presidente, tinigil niya, sabi niya, etong problema kasi ganito, ganyan, ganyan. May narinig kong mga 2 proposal pero
Okay,
hindi na.
sir. Who
hindi na
proposed,
tuloy.
sir? Kanino?
Sila.
DAR.
One, DNR,
Mhm.
saka LGU.
Alright, sir. Sir, you mentioned a creation of a cabinet cluster headed by the president. For what, sir? Cabinet cluster headed by the president.
On a particular area, hindi ko nakuha yung area kung saan yung ano kasi parang sandali lang yun eh.
Pero para
Kasi
sa
merong
akin, sir,
nag-suggest and then one of them, I think, Yusek Kitain said, oh, huwag na natin isama si Presidente dyan. Dami na kang trabaho, tayo-tayo na lang. So hindi masyadong na-discuss. Parang naging
we don't
proposal.
know kung ano yung function nila, sir.
Hindi pa, kasi nga parang proposal na biglang nahinto.
Okay, medyo malabo yun, sir.
Medyo hindi pa masyado yan.
Okay, sir. Sir, the president ordered a vigorous campaign to promote complete immunization for kids. Of course, you mentioned already that the Mbaksha issue was tackled. So,
Yes.
sir, sino daw yung dapat sisihin sa takot ng mga tao? Na
Siguro,
magpapakuna.
dahil nga doon sa naging iskandalo. Iskandalo, plus yung di umanong may mga namamatay because of Dengbaksha. So natakot yung mga parents na ipa-immunize yung kanilang mga anak. So kailangan ng information campaign, yung sabi ni Secretary Duque, para magkaroon ng massive immunization ng mga bata.
Alright. Sir, we had 7 million foreign tourists last year. You mentioned, does the DOT have a specific target for this year, sir, as to how many % of increase they want to achieve?
Wala siyang binanggit.
Wala,
She
sir.
did not mention any target.
And sir, the president also met with rice industry stakeholders in Malacan yesterday.
Yes.
More details, sir.
Well, the long and short of it is that those who you met last night was against or were against. But according to the president, the policy would be to the greater good. Yun ang ibibigay niya. So kahit na kumontra sila, mukhang itutuloy niya.
So when does he plan to sign the rice?
He didn't say so,
tariffication
but
bill?
I think it's forthcoming.
But what was the president's response to them?
Sinabi niya sa kanila na kailangan yung greater good
Okay.
ang susundin natin dito.
Okay, thank
Thank
you,
you.
RJ. Other issue? Follow-up, sige. Pia.
Sir, last night, did the president talk about exacting accountability or making accountable several personalities or government officials whom experts are pointing at are directly responsible for eroding public trust on vaccines? I'm talking about PAO Chief Persida Acosta and PAO Forensics Chief Dr. Erwin Erfe. May nabanggit po ba si
No,
President?
hindi namin na-discuss yung portion.
How did the president take the measles outbreak, sir? Considering that we have enough government resources to prevent such
Well, he said he directed Secretary Duque to do something about it. And Secretary Duque said, we're already doing something about it. So we're conducting a massive immunization plus information campaign that it's better to prevent than to cure.
Kasi sir, dun sa mga previous speeches ni President Duterte, he directly pointed at the Dengvaxia controversy as the reason kung bakit maraming mga magulang natatakot na ipabakuna yung kanilang mga anak. Wala po ba siyang anything na nasabi tungkol doon sa Dengvaxia controversy? Did he talk about the people behind?
No,
those
because
who
if you
use the
remember,
issue?
the House recommended filing charges against certain people. And we said that we will defer to the findings of Congress and let the law take its course. The DOJ will be conducting an investigation to determine probable cause.
Pero sir, I think that's different kasi several doctors group are pointing directly at those individuals. Kasi kung hindi daw po sila, kung hindi nila siguro ginamit yung issue, hindi sila nag-ingay tungkol doon sa issue, marami pa rin mga magulang ang magtitiwala at ipapabakunahan pa rin yung kanilang mga anak at hindi mangyayari itong measles outbreak na ito.
Well, we didn't discuss that particular point, or nobody raised that issue.
You talked about President Duterte ordering a vigorous campaign for vaccination. Ano po yung ano yung mga directives niya on that kay Secretary Duque, sir?
Well, he said that the Department of Health should do something about the outbreak. And Secretary Duque said we're already doing something about it.
Hindi po ba siya, sir, nagalit or nadismaya dun sa nangyari?
Kung nagalit man,
Na nagkaroon ng measles outbreak.
dati na siyang galit kahapon dahil nga sa frustration niya sa mga requirements na kung ano-ano na eh. Parang he
measles,
felt,
sir.
in fact, he excused himself. He excused himself because parang siguro pahinga muna ng content dun sa holding room.
Pero on public health, sir, wala siyang
And basta
nabanggit.
he directed the Department of Health to do something about it. Kailangan ma-solusyonan natin yung outbreak.
Will that also include President Duterte campaigning himself for vaccination, yung to convince parents to vaccinate their children? Kasi may nabanggit po siya dun sa dati niyang speech sa Malabon at directly in-encourage na kinausap niya yung mga magulang na pabakunahan yung kanilang mga anak. Will he also be include?
Kaya hindi ba yung mga adults na bakuna,
include
di ba yung mga
himself
adults na
dun sa-
bakunahan na ng measles? Kami, nabukunahan na kami lahat. Yung mga bata na lang ang hindi pa.
Dun sa kampanya, so we're talking about yung kampanya ng gobyerno para sa pagpabakuna. Will he also be including himself? O tutulong po ba din siya
Oh,
doon?
definitely.
personally?
In fact, siya nga nag-order ng nagawa ng paraan yung problema ng
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Tina, follow up. Follow up? Follow up muna. Joseph, then Ina.
Sir, is the
Joseph.
ano? Vaccine. Is the palace blaming Pao Chief Acosta for the scare?
Wala namang nabanggit doon. Nobody blame anybody there. But Secretary Duque was complaining about how the PAO had impleaded him in several cases, and that is one of the reasons why people are hesitant kasi parang nawala ng tiwala eh. Because of the dengue siya, wala naman siyang kinalaman no, pero dinimanda daw siya. Sabi naman ni Presidente, baka type ka lang. Type ka lang ni Pao. Siguro, you keep on running away from, kaya lumayo ng distansya yung dalawa. Kailangan bagalan mo takbo mo para magkalapit kayo. Oh, yun lang ang...
That was the president's...
nagpatawa lang si Presidente.
Okay.
But sabi niya, don't worry about those cases. I'm telling you as a lawyer, wala yun, hindi ka maano doon.
No order for Pao Chief to maybe refrain from making the connection between, certain things that should not be connected.
The POW chief is responsible enough to know if her action would result into discouraging people or children of parents to have themselves immunized. So we'll leave it to her.
Okay, I'm going back to the point. Secretary Duque is complaining, no, na it's the PAO that kind of like precipitated this fear of vaccinations, not just related to dengue, but to,
According to Secretary Duque, one reason is the delay in the resolution of the cases filed against him. But Secretary Maynard Guevara said a resolution is forthcoming on the cases filed against him. So it will maybe come next week or the week after.
resolution versus him, no?
Yeah, with respect to him,
Duque.
because he felt that he has been unnecessarily and baselessly charged because it had nothing to do with the implementation of dengue vaccine in the first place. It came in too late in the day.
Yeah, does the palace agree with the assertion of Secretary Duque that it was the Dengbaksha's...
It was what?
You said it was the Dengbaksha scandal, to use your word, that brought about this fear of vaccinations. Does the palace agree with the Secretary Duque's statement?
I think it's not a matter of agreeing or that. I think it's a matter of whether is that the reality? Was the scandal really discouraged? From the looks of it, it would seem so.
So yes. Yes. So is that a yes or is that a no?
No, hindi nga eh. In other words, it doesn't matter who or what the palace thinks about it. The question is that the fact?
Because there is
Because according to Secretary Duque, that's the reality. Kaya nagkaroon ng nahirapan sila because naapektuhan doon sa...
And you share that opinion.
I believe him.
Okay, cool. All right, sir. Just one last point. No, may charges versus former President Pinoy, and Abad, and former DOH Secretary Garin for the Deng Vaxia mess. What is the president's
Well,
opinion first?
our position is we will not interfere with the findings of the House, being a separate independent branch. We will defer to it. But I understand the charge is more on technical malversation. In other words, they use specific funds designed for another purpose and using it for another, not on whether Deng Baksha is the cause of death or what.
Okay, Ina?
Hi, sir. Sir, I know the campaign for the vaccination involves yung for measles and others. I'm wondering if the Dengvaxia issue will also be covered by the campaign, considering that a few weeks ago, the DOH said that there are no deaths directly caused by Dengvaxia. Kumbaga, will there be also an effort to allay the public's fears about Dengvaxia?
There is, in fact, Secretary Duque, I think, has requested PCOO to help in the information campaign.
Dengvaxia specifically, sir?
Yes, because according to Secretary Duque, their findings show that it's not Deng Baksha. It's more on pneumonia, heart disease, TB, the cause of death of all those children.
Sir, ano na
And the president said, that will be a long, it will be a tedious, long case. Why? Because it will be a battle of experts. One expert saying that it's the cause, another expert saying, no, it's not. Kaya matagal litigation yan.
Sir, sorry. So how did the president receive itong information from the health secretary saying na indeed wala daw pong relation yung Dengvaxia dun sa deaths?
Yun nga, that
he
was his
agree or-
response. Sabi niya, first, don't worry about your case because I don't think that will prosper against you. Number two, yung case na yan will be a long one because it will be a battle of medical experts. Yun ang naging comment.
Sir, ano po update dun sa panel of experts earlier formed by the president to look into the Dengvaxia?
I have no report on that. I have not seen a report on the panel yet.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
May follow-up? Maricel?
Hi, sir. Sir, just a quick clarification. You mentioned earlier that the president excused himself during the cabinet meeting. Was this during the discussion on the missiles outbreak?
No, it was a discussion on the red tape. The red tape. Yung mga land conversion. Parang he was so exasperated. So, excuse himself. Nagpahinga lang siya sa kabilang kwarto.
Just for a few minutes and then he
Yeah.
went back to the cabinet meeting. Sir, what was the reaction of the president when he learned about the missiles outbreak? Was he disappointed?
No, syempre he was saddened. The president is always affected by any negative outcome that relates to children. Lungkot siya, kaya sabi niya, gawa ng paraan, kaagad.
Okay, follow-up. Christine?
Sir, over here. Ayan.
Ay,
Sir, do you think, sir, si Pau Chief should also take responsibility for, for that, yung sa Dengvaxia? Because si Duque also blamed her. So, should she also be held accountable for it?
well, the Pau chief, as a lawyer, is defending or pursuing a theory that favors the clients. In other words, he is pursuing an advocacy, an impassioned one. So I cannot blame her for that. But even if we do that as lawyers, we are confronted with realities that our position may affect and impact negatively on the general public. So it's her call. We'll leave it to her.
Uh,
As
her
far as
call-
she's concerned, she's just doing her job. Protecting the parents of those, what she perceived to be dying by reason of Dengvaxia.
Okay, last question na sa Denvaxa. Okay, Denvaxa ka rin. Okay,
RJ.
Raymond and then RJ.
So just to clarify the blame game, so Secretary Duque is particularly blaming Pau Chief Acosta or the Dengvaxia controversy issue. Kasi I understand it's not Presida Acosta who ignited or started about the issue of the Dengvaxia issue. Even the House conducted their own investigation.
No, the point of Secretary Duque, I think, is she has aggravated the situation by filing cases against him. Since she's the Department of Health chief, then it affects his credibility vis-a-vis the people.
Sir, don't you see also any failure on the end, on the part of the Department of Health? Kasi they have all the resources, they have all the mandate, they have all the capabilities to counter the fear of the parents. They should have done something more proactive to implement the immunization program.
I think they're doing their job. But you know, when the people's consciousness are negative on a particular matter, mahihirapan ka rin sirain yun. It takes time. Pag naunahan na naniwala sila na yung pala ang dahilan, ay talagang they will never give in.
Sir,
Takot eh.
are you speaking on the reality from the ground in the provinces? On what the DOJ?
That's what
doing?
the secretary said. Kaya sila hirap na hirap.
So it's what the
Ayaw.
secretary said.
Yes.
Kasi
And I believe him because sila ang nasa baba, sila ang nasa ground. Sila ang umiikot eh. Sila ang tinatanggihan.
because there are a lot of places in the provinces, the public hospitals are just waiting for people to come for immunization, and they do not dare go house to house or barangay to barangay to explain the immunization program. Thank you.
Alam mo, yung mga parents, you cannot blame them also eh. Kung napaniwala sila na yun ang cause. Kahit na pumunta ka sa house to house, pag paniwala nila, baka mamatay pa yung anak ko dyan, ba't naman ako pupunta dyan? They will never go there. Kaya tama si Secretary Duque, we need a massive information campaign to tell them that it's not true.
Okay, last two on Danvaxa, RJ, and then Julie.
Sir, clarify ko lang. Sir, the palace doesn't think that Miss Acosta did not, the palace doesn't think Miss Acosta politicized Dengvaxia issue as claimed by critics.
Well, the president didn't say anything, but as I said earlier, Mao Chip maybe is so impassioned with her advocacy with respect to her clients, the families of the victims. So, in that aspect, you cannot also blame her.
So it's not, in a way, a form of politicizing the issue.
I don't think so. I mean, she's a lawyer. We lawyers are impassioned in our defense or prosecuting people we perceive to have violated the law. And since there is a court, so let the courts decide.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Julie.
Sir, you mentioned earlier that PAO Chief Presido Acosta is responsible enough to know if her statements may have affected the DOH's vaccination campaign against vaccine preventable diseases.
Yes, in other words, it's her call. If she feels that her advocacy has affected the people into not believing on immunization, including immunization from other illnesses, then she should do something about it.
Given, sir, that there is already a measles outbreak and the present situation as DOH Secretary Duque has laid in front of cabinet meeting, does the palace think that
Persida Acosta may have gone too far with her statements on the Dengbaksha.
Again, I will repeat, it's her call.
Okay.
We understand where she's coming from, and we will leave it to her.
Also, just a second question. Should the DOJ come out with a resolution?
DOJ?
Yeah. Should the DOJ come up with a resolution indicting DOH Secretary Duque? And given that PAO Chief Persida Acosta and both Secretary Duque are under the executive branch, is the president willing to back either one of the two sides?
No, the president, one, does not interfere or intrude into the department's authority and responsibility. DOJ has the duty to determine whether or not there is probable cause for any case filed before it against anybody. And it's his job, regardless of who are involved.
So if Secretary Duque is indeed charged with the Dengbaksha controversy, the president will let him prepare his defense and will not interfere, correct?
Of course.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, last na sa Dengbaksha, Rose.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sir, anong tingin ng palasyo? Makakatulong ba yung pagsasampa ng kaso laban kila dating President Aquino, dating Health Secretary Garin, and dating Budget Secretary Abad, maibalik yung tiwala ng yung kaso laban sa kanila, sir, sa Dengbaksha? Pwede bang makatulong ito para magbalik yung tiwala ng tao sa immunization program ng pamahalaan? Kasi accountability po yung ibig sabihin ng ganong hakbang.
First, as I said, we will defer to the findings of the House. Hindi nakikialam si Presidente ron. Pangalawa, the demanda, technical malversation. Hindi naman tungkol dun sa Dengbaksha whether ito ang cause o hindi. Parang ginamit nila yung amount of money designed for one purpose sa iba, and under the law, that's technical malversation. We'll leave it to the DOJ whether there is probable cause to indict. And if there is, then we will let the courts do its duty to decide.
Thank you.
Okay, last na. Tina, other issue na.
Sir, sa issue lang nung DAR, did the President mention or reveal yung name ng DAR officials na gusto niya sibakin? He's been vocal in the recent public appearance.
He did not identify.
So, but then is there an ongoing investigation against these officials? If you know, sir.
I think so, yes. Pero hindi ko alam kung sino in charge doon sa investigation.
Sir, on the issue of the national ID system, did Secretary Esperon and Yusek Versales explain the delay in the implementation since Congress initially allocated 2 billion funds under the 2018 budget? What were the causes of delay?
The cause yata ng delay is yung problema sa security. Yusek said that they even asked the ATV to give them technical assistance. Maraming pang, but according to her also, mukhang on time naman September. Baka mailabas nila by September.
Sir,
Because under the law, mukhang yun ang target to September.
Sir, anong assurances that the national ID system will not be used against some left-leaning personalities or perceived enemies of the state?
Yung security agency natin ang in charge nun. And Secretary Esperon said, we can be sure na hindi magkakaroon ng snafu sa security.
Okay, Ace?
Sec, any update on the status of the rice tariffication bill?
Hindi, sabi ko nga kanina, it could be forthcoming kasi nagbigay na siya ng posisyon niya dun sa mga farmers na kausap niya.
So hindi pa napipirmahan?
Hindi pa, dahil minute niya pa nga.
Pero ano ba yung concerns ng farmers about that particular measure?
Again,
Are they asking him to veto that measure?
They want it vetoed, but I don't think the president will.
The president won't veto?
I don't think so. Kasi yun ang posisyon niya kagabi, sinasabi niya, for the greater interest, for the greater good.
So basically, the meeting with farmers was about explaining the bill. Can we assume that?
No, that was a courtesy call and asking the
Mhm.
president na maapektuhan sila. But
So napag-usapan yun.
sabi ni presidente sa kanila, pwedeng maapektuhan kayo, but yung kabuuan ng mga Pilipino ang inaalala ko.
So basically, he defended the measure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sec.
Okay, Pia. Last two na to, Pia and then Joyce.
Sir, you said that President Duterte wants to certify yung military and uniform personnel pension reform bill. Why did the President think there's an urgent need to reform the pension system to military and uniform personnel?
Siguro marami nagre-reklamo sa pension nila. Considering na involved ngayon ng armed forces in our fight against communism, rebellion, terrorism. Maraming nalalaga sa atin eh. Maraming nalalaga sa ating mga kasamahan.
So understandably, sir, there may be some opposition from military officers or
May
uniform personnel.
opposition? Wala.
There may be some opposition, sir, or
Pabor nga
complaints.
sa kanila. I don't think they will oppose.
Ade, kasi sir, I understand that retirees will only receive pension at the age of 60. Even if you avail, for example, early retirement at 56, you have to wait until you're 60 to receive your pension. So there may be some opposition, pagpalagay na lang po natin, or complaints coming from the military officers of yet to retire. Hindi po ba natatakot si Presidente that it would cost him the support of the military?
No, I don't think so. Yung sinasabi mong baka may kontra sa 56 to 60, gusto nga nila yun na hindi pa sila magre-retire eh. Kasi pag 56, retire ka na, di wala ka ng trabaho. Mabuting-mabuti kung na-appoint ka uli. Mantalang kung 60, pwede ka pa magtrabaho. You have additional 4 years. In fact, I think that measure is designed for them, for their benefit.
How, sir?
How? Kung 56, retire ka na, di tapos ng trabaho mo. Samantalang kung up to 60 ang retirement mo, o di may extension ng 4 years na nagtatrabaho.
So, ano po
In
yung...
fact, I have one friend who told me, I won't mention his name, sabi niya, I cannot retire. Sabi ko, why? Sabi niya, I need a loan. Kasi supposedly gusto niya na mag-retire 1 year or 2 years earlier. Sabi niya, I need to get a loan. Pag ako'y nag-retire, wala na ako dito sa quarters na libre. I have to build my house. Kaya hindi ako po pwede mag-retire pa.
So, does the President feel that there is a need to extend the military service of uniform personnel, for example, from 56 to 60? Is there a need, sir, na nakikita si President Duterte, considering that you have the problem with terrorism, communism, ganun, sir? Is it connected
Siguro
with
apart
that?
from yung kailangan natin, ang galing nila, nakikita ko kasi 56 is very early retirement. Sa panahon ngayon, ang 80 years old, bata pa eh. Lalo na 56 years old. Kaya parang nakapangihinayang naman na pagkatapos mo pinag-aral ng gobyerno, paparetirein mo na agad. Tapos wala na silang ginagawa. And they want to serve eh. They want to serve more. Longer time.
Is the President looking at extending the service then of other professions? Like example, teachers?
No, hindi ko alam yung portion yun. Yun lang sa military alam kung may pension.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, may follow-up si Ace.
Secretary, what is the President's stand on the issue regarding the pension? Kasi di ba alam naman natin na kapag lumaki yung sweldo ng mga active, lalaki din yung pension nung retired.
Yes.
And it could bloat the deficit. Because it comes from the state funds, yung national budget yon. It can bloat the deficit kapag lumaki. Ano yung stand niya doon? Is he amenable to amending that?
I'll ask him about that. I don't know his
Kasi
stand.
problema ng budget department ever since yun eh. Yung lumalaki yung pension requirements kasi lumalaki din yung sweldo. So ngayon, hindi nyo ma-increase yung salary ng
Ang
soldiers.
solusyon dun ang koleksyon ng income tax and corporate tax.
Yeah, nabanggit yun. Pero with the number of retirees,
Even
yun
then,
yung sabi ng economic managers, mahirap
if
isustain
you achieve
yung-
your goal in collection, wala kang problema sa pag-defray ng
Pero ang daming
expenses.
retirees.
Oh, Magkailan lang ba naman yon?
Madami. Anyway, pero wala pang stand si Presidente Duterte. Okay.
Friendly reminder, yung mga follow-up lang, limit your follow-up question.
Isa lang, sir. Sir, whatever happened to President Duterte's plan to form a pension fund for the military? Kasi nabanggit niya na yun beforehand.
Wala pa siyang binabanggit. I'll ask him. Magkikita kami mamaya sa command conference.
So wala pa, sir, initial na pagpaplano, sir.
Wala akong narinig sa cabinet meetings.
Okay, last three, Joyce, Nestor, and Joseph. And Tina pa.
Sir, nabanggit niyo hindi naman pinangalanan ni President Duterte sino sa DAR particularly yung gusto niyang tanggalin. Pero did he mention or did he order a revamp inside DAR?
Wala siyang binabanggit.
Okay. Sir, last time you also said that Budget Secretary Benjamin Jokno can bring that up sa cabinet meeting, yung problem with House of Representatives issuing show cause order. Did he bring that up, sir, sa cabinet meeting?
He didn't kasi mukhang, di ba, umatras na naman si Congressman Andaya. Sabi niya, I won't insist on him appearing. Sinabi niya yun eh. So, naging moot and academic na.
May sabina, sir, ngayon na
Saka alam mo, yung sinasabing, that reminds me now, yung sinasabi ni Congressman Andaya na he wants to know what happened doon sa hindi nagastos, ay simple lang naman ang paliwanag. Yung hindi nagastos, babalik sa National Treasury yun. Ganun lang yun. So there is no need for you to explain. Pag-i-explain mo doon. Siyempre, nasa National Treasury.
Development lang, sir. Just 30 minutes ago, House issued subpoena for Budget Secretary Benjamin Jokno to appear before the House Committee hearing tomorrow, February 8. So, anong balak ni Secretary Jokno? Would you advise him to go?
What I know is his stand is I've already testified. They've asked me. I've already explained to them. There is nothing more to explain.
So, hindi siya dapat umattend?
No, that's his call. Yun ang narinig ko sinasabi niya. Wala siyang sinabing hindi siya attend. Basta sinasabi niya, nagpaliwanag na naman ako.
Would you encourage him, sir, to attend?
Huh?
Would you encourage him, advise him to attend?
I'm not his lawyer.
But sir,
I'm the lawyer of the president.
But sir, syempre under the executive, do you think the president would advise him to attend?
I will not preempt his lawyer. Mamaya magalit pa sa akin yung abogado niya. May sarili naman siyang lawyer.
Okay, Tina.
Sir, subject lang ng command conference mamaya.
Actually, hindi ko alam. Naimbitahan lang akong pumunta ron.
Sige, sir.
Aten ako. Silip. Hindi, hapon yan.
Okay, next, Nestor.
Sir, before my question, may blessing ba yun ng President because the DBM issued a statement that they are welcoming the subpoena for Diokno to clarify the issue. So mag-a-attend nga si Secretary Diokno or magre-respond siya dun sa subpoena ng House. May blessing ba yun ng President, sir? Or?
Kung attend, wala sinasabi si Presidente. Basta, ang alam ko lang na nagkita sila. Parang ganun lang. Parang ano. Sir, wala na naman eh. Parang ganun lang yung usapan kagabi. Kasi nga, hindi ba sabi ni Congressman Andaya, I will not insist on him appearing. Hindi, may subpoena, pero in other words, kung may excuse si Secretary Jokno, he will not insist.
Okay, sir. Sir, what is the position of or the reaction of the President on the statement of Senator Lacson urging him to use his line item veto power to remove the alleged pork insertions made by lawmakers?
He had no comment, but as we said earlier, let us not, I agree with Secretary Medellez' comment that we should not preempt the President. The President knows what he's going to do.
So what will the President do, sir?
Then let's see. The basis for any action of the President is people's interest.
Napag-usapan ba ito sa cabinet meeting kagabi, sir?
Hindi napag-usapan. Yun lang mga sinabi ko.
Okay, last question na. Joseph?
Sir, follow up on the pork barrel. No? As a
Pork
matter
barrel.
of concept and principle, does the palace agree with the power of Congress, and they've done it in this budget, to allocate for themselves lump sum funds?
What we recognize is the power of Congress to amend. to review and to amend and to do whatever it feels is correct, necessary, and right. We leave it to them. Now, if the president feels that it's wrong, then he can use his bit of power to correct it.
So sir, yun pong, kasi the NEP already allocated 100 million for each congressman, no? And then according to Senator Lacson, Speaker Arroyo added some maybe 50 or 60 million to each congressman. What do you think of it, sir?
Di ba, ever since sinasabi ko, I cannot even understand why the fuss of all this. Kasi when you allocate for a particular district, that means that district, the reasonable assumptions, they need it. So, ang importante kay Presidente, gagamitin mo ba yan sa pangangailangan ng distrito mo o kukurakutin mo lang yan? May problema tayo pag ganyan na. So sa akin, I think wala rin ako makita ng problema eh.
But we have
Precisely, districts need money to improve itself. Ano namang masama doon kung meron silang mga pondo? Ang problema doon kung hindi mo gagamitin. O kaya nga nagkakaroon ng mga demandaan.
Yes, sir, but we have a Supreme Court ruling outlawing lump sum discretionary allocations.
Hindi ba yung sabi ng Supreme Court yung pag hindi pa nailagay sa
Pre-enactment.
budget? Oo. Eh kung nailagay na, di ba parang ang sinasabi nila, nandun na, nire-allocate lang nila. In other words, meron ng dati. So hindi papasok sa doktrina ng Korte
So
Suprema.
ito pong 150 na sabi ni Ping, this is not pork from the palace perspective? As defined by the Supreme Court?
As defined by the Supreme Court, baka hindi papasok yun.
Na?
Kasi the Supreme Court said, pork would refer dun sa allocation na wala sa budget. Nilagay mo lang. But in this particular case, sinasabi ni Senator Lacson na dati nang meron, pero nire-distribute lang. So, paano papasok?
No, sir. In the decision, there are 4 kinds, no? Yun pong dinidiscuss nyo would be a function of when the budget was allocated, pre and post, no? Maybe pre, pwedeng lusot. But there's also letter C, I think, from the decision, lump sum discretionary funds, meaning 100 million na budget. Let's apply it to the allegation of Senator Lacson. 100 per plus 50 from Speaker Arroyo, and they themselves identified. That's what's prohibited in letter C of the decision of the
Again,
court, sir.
I will repeat what I said earlier. The president is a lawyer.
Okay.
He knows his law. If he thinks that that is in violation of the doctrine enunciated by the Supreme Court, then he will do what is right.
Fair enough. Can I move down the Sir, na-discuss kahapon si Kenneth Tong?
No.
No?
Nobody raised it. Nobody discussed
Not
it.
even in, maybe in
No.
pulong-pulong niya?
Wala.
So, the president does he have any reaction to the arrest?
It was not mentioned. But if you will ask me, the president always welcomes any arrest involving any person alleged to be involved in drug trafficking or any crime.
Regardless of the alleged...
Regardless of whoever he or she is. Again, I will repeat, this president is no respecter of friendship, alliances, and relationship. Everyone to him is accountable before the law.